We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Sassy Mark. All right. Our kids are grown, they're both in their 20s. They live at home, they are never gonna leave. And why should they go? They've got it good here, you know. Their food, their phone, their rent is free. They would have to be out of their minds to leave. But I was thinking, what if things were different? You know, living here at home with you and me. What if we decided we could act like they both did when they were in their teens? So wake up, mama, climb out of this window. I have got the key, let's steal our daughter's car. We will both get really drunk, and we'll put a big dent in her trunk. And we'll drive real fast on the thoroughfare. If we get a speeding ticket, we won't care. We'll be the ones up all night acting wild. And they'll be the ones up all night worrying. We go, mama, climb out of this window. Come on out and be 16 with me. Picture our kids calling all of our friends up and then asking them if they know where we are. Of course, all our friends will lie and say they ain't seen us all night, but we'll be standing right beside them while they're on the phone, smoking, drinking, and carrying on when we come strolling home on Sunday morning. Around 10 o'clock while the neighbors walk to church, our kids will ask us where we've been, and then they'll ask us again, and we will just make up a great big lie and swear that it's the truth until the day we die. And they'll be the ones trying to find the truth out, and we'll be the ones who are lying through our teeth. And under pressure, we'll confess that we had unprotected sex. That will gross them out so much they might just start to think about moving out. If turnabout is fair play in this life, then what better way to encourage them to leave than to give them both a dose of what it was like to live with them when they were in their teens. So wake up, mama, climb out of this window. I have got the key, let's steal our daughter's car. We will both get really drunk, and we'll put a big dent in her trunk, and no one will know where we are till we come home in a police car. We'll be the ones up all night acting wild. They'll be the ones up all night worrying. We go, mama, climb out of this window. Oh man, be careful. You're not as young as you used to be. I saw that picture of you. You are not that young no more. That's right. I should have brought a ladder. That's 40 feet down there. You know what? The kids are both drunk and passed out. Let's just go out the front door. Come on out, be 16 with me.
All right, John.
I love that one.
All right. All right, so I think I can pick out a couple of the requests here. I'm going to do this. Sing a song for my daughter. My daughter is awesome. So this is a song that I wrote after we had a fight one day, and I thank whoever requested this. And I wrote this song on a piece of paper. The idea of the song is that we should be careful during this time when we're fighting a lot, which is kind of normal, right? We should be careful that we don't say anything too hurtful to each other that will last longer than the hard time. Because you could do that. You could say, I hate you. Anything could come out of your mouth in the fight, and then the difficult time is over, but the sting of what you said is still there. And so the song is kind of a plea for that. And I wrote it, and then I put it on her pillow. And so she could, right here, and this bed was right there. And she could read it without me being around, which made it so that it could communicate better. Like if the words were coming out of my mouth in those days, they weren't reaching her ear for some reason. I don't know what the deal was, but And so I hope you like this. I yelled, I screamed, I swore, and she slammed her bedroom door. The house was completely still, and in that silent chill, I began to feel and hear the sounds of my own teen years. Didn't I always say my home would not feel this way? Hey kid, can I come in? Hey, can we start again? There's just too much at stake for us to keep on this way. If this family explodes today and the wounded go their own way, when the time comes to heal, will we still be here? The pain in my mother's eyes, the day that her father died, was born in her teenage years of wounds that never healed. Your life keeps on calling you. You hear it call, I do too. It gets louder all the time. I know it won't be denied, but there's just a few short years where we will both live here for this precious and fleeting time. Let me see those brown eyes shine. The pain in my mother's eyes, the day that her father died, was born in her teenage years of wounds that never healed. If we make a deal today to stop making their mistakes, when the time comes to say goodbye, you won't have my mother's eyes for this precious and fleeting time. Let me see those brown eyes shine. Okay.
Woo! Beautiful, Don. That was great.
Wow. Beautiful.
All right, so thank you. So I got what I'm gonna do. I am going to tell a quick story, sing another song, and then we'll wrap this thing up. But thank you so much for coming and supporting us. We do this every Thursday. I also perform other nights of the week. Keep an eye out for me. I'm playing Monday for an organization out of New Hampshire. And just so you know, let's see, on that show, one of the women from Red Molly is going to be there. I've forgotten her name. And then John McCutcheon is going to pop into that one. That's Monday night. And then next Thursday, I don't know what we're doing or where we're doing it, but that'll be good too. So just come on, and we're trying to get a sense of community going, and that's really what we're doing here. So
You're doing a great job of it, Don.
thank you, Neil. You're the best. So here, briefly, here's a story. I have some friends that are messed up, right? I have messed up friends, but I don't. It's not one way. I have been the messed up friend. Okay, so I've been on both sides of this thing. So one day you look out your window and you see your messed up friend, and he's driving a backhoe into your yard. This story is called "My Messed Up Friend and His Backhoe," in case you didn't know. And so my messed up friend is driving a backhoe into my backyard, and he digs a big hole in my yard, an 8-foot hole with his backhoe. I'm watching out the window. These are metaphors. This didn't really happen. And so, at that point, he comes out off his backhoe and he rings my doorbell. And then by the time I get to the door, he's not on the porch. He's down, jumped in the hole. Right? So I walk over and I go, what? 10 times what? And he says, look at this terrible hole that I'm in. And I say, I just saw you dig that hole. And he said, I didn't dig this hole. I didn't mess up my life. I didn't put myself in a position where everything looked horrible from where I was. That's not what happened. It was the government. It was the pressure. It was my wife. It was the job. It was the system. It was some other outside force ruined my life. And now I'm in a terrible hole and everything looks awful from where I am. And what they want, what they always want is for you to climb down in there with them. And now, we have been listening to me since 7:10, 7:15. That's longer than anybody should have to, really, in this world. But one thing I think we can all agree on, having had to tolerate this for this amount of time here, is that when I tell you I'm not a genius, it should be unanimous. We should all agree like this. Yes, that is true. We have 1 hour's worth of evidence to prove that, right, Don? Okay? But even though I'm not a genius, I know for sure if I climb in that hole with my mess up friend and you walk by, you are not seeing two smart people in a hole. That's not what you're seeing. So this is what I do. I've learned this, and so I metaphorically now I draw a portrait of them. Not a real portrait. Nobody would want a portrait of themselves that I drew, really. I can't make a circle. It looks like an egg. I can't make an egg. It looks like a circle. All right? But I'm, metaphorically, I draw a portrait of them, not the way they see themselves, but the way that I see them, because I can see them when their dreams have come true. I can see them when their potential has been fulfilled. I can see them when they have their wings. And I go up to their hole that they dug, and I say, this is what I have for you. This is what you get if you come here. This is all I can do for you. And I can show you how you look to me after your dreams have come true. And what happens, what always happens, is that it infuriates them. It infuriates them, and they get in their back hole and they leave. Maybe they go over your house, dig a big hole in your yard, and see if they can get you down in it. But sometimes, man, I'm telling you, anybody here in AA or anything, the percentages are not great. Maybe 20% of the time, 15% of the time, they'll go away and they'll get some help. A year will go by. Maybe they'll get a group to hang out with, or somebody to talk to, or medication, or something, right? And they'll get focused, get right. And a year will go by, and your doorbell will ring, and you'll open the door, and there, standing on your porch, is this person that you love so much, and they're standing there exactly the way that you drew them. And I have to tell you, boys and girls, it is a beautiful moment in a person's life when you can say to somebody that you love, look at you, look how beautiful you are. Aren't you glad I didn't climb down in that stupid hole with you? Aren't you glad I didn't agree with the way you see the world, the way you saw the world? Look at your wings, look at you. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And so that's my story. I just want to wrap it up by saying to you, these are difficult times. If you know somebody that had problems before COVID, you should call them. You might be the only person they talk to in a week or 2 weeks. I'm going to end with a song called Angel in Pieces. It's a song about believing in people when they're not well enough to believe in themselves. And we can do that, and I know you're all doing it. I can feel you. Through the little squares and the internet and the miles, I can feel your hearts. I know you are doing something that matters out there. So on behalf of humanity, for whom I am the official spokesperson, I want to thank you for all your little kindnesses out there. We'll do this song here, and then if you want to hang around with us, you just never quite know what's going to happen at the Dawn White legendary after parties. Okay, I can't wait to get to it myself. I'm going to rush through this song. I'm going to play this song on 78 so I can get to the end of it quick. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. 78. That's an old person reference, isn't it? That's like a nursing home reference.
I still have mine.
Of course you do, Grandpa. I know, but if I use that reference, one time I was playing at colleges with my son. I go, I can't use this reference for college students my son was a college student at the time. I was with him, and I go, see this reference, when I do it, I just get blank stares from college students. And he said to me, Dad, college students always look like that. Like, okay, good to know. All right. All right. So thank you so much for coming, and I appreciate you all so much. And we'll hang around now after this, if you want. You know, if you got a long drive home, that's different. You know. She walked into the room like she was walking off a cliff. In my mind I said, what kind of shattered angel is this? Her walk said, I've surrendered. And her face, I've had enough. Her eyes were holes, they were dark and cold. They said, I've given up. I saw an angel in pieces, as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe this sad angel someday will fly. You know, life rains down so hard upon some people that we know. It tears their faith and their hope away, and they walk around like gold. And we see them as they are breaking, and as their spirit dies, but deep inside we still believe they will come alive and fly. I saw an angel in pieces, as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe this sad angel someday will fly. Fly. Now she walks across the room like she could walk across the sky. And those old dark eyes, they are so alive, they set the room on fire. This is no shattered angel, I say to myself. I feel Zuzu's petals, I hear one small bell. I saw an angel in pieces, as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe this sad angel someday will fly. I saw an angel in pieces, as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe this sad angel someday will fly. Look how beautiful you are.
All right, Dawn. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So beautiful.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. The mighty 27 over here, and the millions that we have over there, and the 40 million that are watching me, and some cat photos over there. That's good. So we're going to throw the Venmo up for 1 minute. I'm going to splash some water on my face. We're going to have an after party. We'll get Steve Rapson to show off on the guitar a little bit, and then we'll see who else has dropped in to share their music with us. So if you're welcome to stay, but if you want to go, that's okay too. You know, it's been a long time now. This is in a 140 character world. This has been a long time.
Never a long time with you, Dawn.
All right, I'll be back in just a minute and a half.
Richard.
Done. You upstairs? Yes.
What happens if I do that?
Nice playing, Steve.
Hi there. Do you notice anything different about me? I have a new shirt on. You know why? Because the Don White show is so professional, it actually includes costume changes. That's right.
Good.
Uh, nothing but the best for you guys here. And so, welcome to the after party, the hangout, I guess we call it. And I want those of you that just popped in now, don't think I don't notice that you just came. Okay, 1, 2, 4. I'm just playing with you. All right, now. I think what we should do is bring back our friend Steve Rabson to
All
start
right.
off. How about that?
Steve. All right, Steve.
So, Steve, let's talk for a second. So maybe a lot of folks don't know you. You're a local guy here, Massachusetts, New Hampshire kind of guy, right?
I live in Winchendon, Massachusetts for half the year, and Rosemary and I live in Jupiter, Florida for the other half.
And Steve is he's a fantastic guitar player, of course, but he's also a good friend to everybody in the community. He teaches, and he's written a book on solo performing, and he's a bit generous spirit. And I just think you guys should all be aware of him. We have put his website and stuff in the chat, and so that you can reach out to him if you want after. But so Steve, why don't you play something for us and see if you can show us what you got.
Sure. Here's a standard that I've been working on.
go, Steve. That was beautiful. Awesome, my friend.
Everybody knew
Man.
that song, right? That was
What's the name
All
of
the
that
Things
tune?
You Are.
What is it? What's the
All
name of
the
it,
things-
Steve? All the
I'm
things
sorry?
You Are.
Things you are.
What's the name of it?
All the Things You Are by Kern and Hammerstein.
Beautiful.
Can
Absolutely.
you can I get you to play my guitar and teach it a few things?
Sure, it gets very genetic these days.
Well, Steve, would you hang around if we go around one more time, play another tune for us later?
Of course, this is fun.
Thanks. All right, so I see that one of our special guests has just arrived. He had another engagement. So tonight it's my pleasure to bring forward here, truly a legend and just an extraordinary man and a good friend, not just to me but to everybody. Reverend Robert Jones is with us tonight, so let's make him feel good.
Hey!
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, man. It's hard to be a legend and still be alive.
Thank God you are.
Thank God we both are.
So,
You all are, right?
Robert, do you want us to play your thing now, or do you want to do it later, your video, or?
It's
Up to you. We'll go around twice.
Why don't we play that? Yeah, why don't we play that video? Especially if Mr. Gorka is going to do
Yep,
what we have planned. Let's do that.
All right. So, do you want to set it up and talk a little bit about it? So, Robert is a historian, a blues historian, and this is part of his project that he's got going that you can find on YouTube. Right? We'll have the link for that where people can find these pieces that you put together on the history of the blues. So, go ahead and set it up.
Doesn't have a computer. He can't get onto this.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So I do online guitar lessons with a company called TrueFire.com, and it's really cool. And there are a bunch of folks on it. But they called me at the end of May and said, "We came up with this great idea, and we want you to do like 30 blues lessons, blues chapters about important blues guitarists primarily, and would you do it?" So I started to think about some of my favorite blues guitarists and sort of how they fit in with the history of American music chronologically. And one of my all-time favorite blues men is a guy by the name of Son House. And so I featured him in, I think it's episode number 9. But I also love the fact that John Gorka, who, I've been knowing for a long time, just did this beautiful song about Son House. And I thought, would it be really great? Some people probably have never seen or heard of Son House. Would it not be great to see what inspired John to do that wonderful song? So this is part of a series called Blues Chronicles. They aired every day in June, and now they're still running on YouTube. And I think that's it. So this is episode 9 of Son House. Hello, my name is Reverend Robert Jones, and welcome to another edition of Blues Chronicles. Today, we focus on one of the greatest blues performers ever to come out of the Mississippi Delta, Son House. Eddie James House Jr. was born in Riverton, Mississippi in 1902. He started preaching on various plantations at around the age of 15. But at the age of 25, he heard the blues on guitar for the very first time and was hooked. Now, there were many bluesmen who did sacred material, but most of them simply chose an alias, like Charlie Patton's Elder J.J. Hadley. But for House, blues was an either-or proposition. In fact, his 1930 recording, Preaching Blues, seemed to mock the very institution of the church. Well, I could have religion long as very day. Even later in life, House tended to sing gospel a cappella, leaving the guitar for the blues. But the whiskey and the women just wouldn't let me pray. The conflict between the sacred and the secular was one that would follow Son House for the rest of his life.
What you want me? What you want me? Son House was a powerful and emotional singer who always seemed to focus on relationships between men and women. He was fond of saying, "The blues is about male and female. Everything else is monkey junk." With the death of his good friend and partner Willie Brown in 1954 and the popularity of electric blues, Son House essentially retired from performing. But in 1964, a group of blues enthusiasts discovered he was living in Rochester, New York, when he had a second career as a result of the folk boom of the 1960s. Today, it's easy to find video of Son House recorded in the 60s and 70s, in some cases well past his prime as a guitar player. But his singing is always intense. Son House died in Detroit in 1988, and he's buried in Detroit's Mount Hazel Cemetery. One interesting fact about Son House's burial is that he has two tombstones. The first, a smaller one, was purchased by his family and runs east and west. The second is a huge black marble monument purchased by the Detroit Blues Society. It was so big that it would have covered 3 graves. So the decision was made to run it crosswise, running north and south. Thus the perfect metaphor for a man whose life was pulled in 2 different directions. For Blues Chronicles, this is Reverend Robert Jones.
Wow, that was great.
That was awesome. That was great.
So Robert, that's those we've put the Brandon, we put the link to that in the chat so people can find all the chronicles on YouTube.
Yep, they're in there.
All right. So Robert, thank you. Do you mind hanging around and doing one in person for us later?
Looking forward to it.
All right. So as Robert said, when we were putting this together, the idea of this Son House historical piece to match up with this fantastic song that our next guest John Gorka wrote for Son House. So this is kind of like the Son House, the Son House experiment here in the after party. But man, I'm really looking forward to it. So please welcome our good friend, Mr. John Gorka.
Hey, John.
Hi, John.
Thank you.
Hello.
Oh my goodness.
That was great, Robert. I love that. I love that piece you did.
Thank you, John.
So this is a song. I worked for Sing Out magazine, the folk song magazine, for a while, and while I was there, I learned that Son House was still alive. It was like 1986, and I did. I love the Delta bluesmen, especially the ones who were still with us in the 60s. And when I found out he was still alive, I wrote this song and I sent it to him. I never heard back, but this is for Son House. It's called Blues with the Rising Sun. Dear Mr. House, this is a letter from a stranger. Dear Mr. House, I know this letter is not news. It's just a note I write to thank a man who came from Lyon near the Yazoo, played the Delta blues. I read somewhere that you knew Charlie Patton and so many more, now forgotten and gone. And I read you made records in Wisconsin, showed your slide to Robert Johnson, and he took up your song. I had heard that you used to be a preacher, and I've heard the way you played guitar. I wonder now if the one tore up the other when Willie Brown was like a brother and you played the country bars. There were blues in Mississippi. There were blues for everyone. There were blues in Mississippi, but they were blues with a rising sun. Blues with a rising sun. In 43, you left that chapter in the Delta and came to work for the New York Central line. When Willie passed, the music didn't matter, so you put away the patter, but it never left your mind. Someone said that you had your share of good times. The good times said that they had their share of you. Me, I say, what I say doesn't matter, but what you did changed the world for good. I know your life wasn't always made of music. I know your life has been so different from my own. But when you sang, you could rattle all the windows and take all the things that I know and sing them from your home with the blues. In Mississippi, there were blues for everyone. There were blues in Mississippi, but they were blues with a rising sun. Blues with a rising sun.
Beautiful, John.
John, wow. That was great.
Thank you very much.
Beautiful.
That was wonderful.
And one of the cool things about doing this with Robert is Robert actually met Son House. He's a living link to that generation of bluesmen. It's really excellent. I'm proud to know you, Reverend Jones.
I'm proud to know you, man, too. That's great. What a great song.
That's good.
Thank you.
All right, let's hear it again for John. That was just fantastic.
Beautiful, John.
Thank you.
So
Thank
much.
you.
So, John, will you hang around for another time around for
Sure.
us?
Yeah, I'd like that.
Yeah.
I'll do a shorter one. That's kind of long, so I won't overhog things.
I think if we took a vote, that everyone would say you just do however long you want, John.
There you go.
Thanks.
But, nobody has a long ride home. Reverend Jones, I just want to run this by you before we move on from this. There is I'm sure you know this, but there's a video called Festival, which is the video from, I think it's 63, 64, 65 at the Newport Folk Festival, right?
Right.
And there's a lot of clips of Sonny Terry and Brian McGee, Mississippi John Hurt. They were all still alive then, and they were all at those festivals. And most of them are, tell me if you agree with this, most of them are kind of quick. They're short clips. But the Son House one is fantastic.
Yeah.
He's just talking about the blues and how the blues is not supposed to be sped up. It's slow because it's about you lost your mama and you're
Yep.
supposed to go. And he's pounding the table going like this. The blues are like this, right?
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about? That
I
video?
do know what you're talking about. He gets so excited he misspells the word blues. He
Yeah.
goes, "It ain't everything talking about junk. That's monkey junk. The blues, the BLSUE blues." It's so excited, man. It's wonderful.
It's just, that's a great film for everyone to watch. It's called Festival. People watch it because Bob Dylan went electric and part of it, but there's all kinds of stuff there. And I was saying this to John earlier and during sound check, and I don't know if you know this, Reverend Jones, but the guy who filmed that, he died. He was from New York, but his son will show the film, and talk about it. So I went to a place here in Massachusetts and watched the film again. And then he talked about it. And I asked him, what happened to the raw footage? They only showed just a little pieces. Mm-hmm. And he said, it got bought by, I think he said history.com. So I believe if you dig hard enough, you can find all the raw footage that these guys shot from 63, 64, and 65 on a website. And I'm pretty sure, a Google search will probably prove this out, but I think it was called history.com. So that's exciting to know, because I always wondered. You see like 40 seconds of Sonny Terry and Bronnie McGee, you're like, what? Whoa,
what
wait,
happened to the rest of them?
Right,
Yeah, not to mention, it's two artists that are really featured in that are amazing. And one of them is Joan Baez, because she's all over that thing. She looks like a goddess. And Peter, Paul, and Mary. And I swear, every time Mary Travis is singing, there's like wind blowing through her hair. Most beautiful thing you've ever seen.
She had a guy with a fan following her.
Yeah.
All right, that was awesome. So Steve, do you want to play another tune for us, my friend?
Well, you guys are talking about the blues, and I wrote one blues song out of the many I've written in the last several years, and I will play that for you. It's called the Narrow Line Blues. Walk a straight and a narrow line. I walk a straight and a narrow line. There's a hole in my pocket where I lost my last dime. In every new town, I don't stay too long. In every new town, I don't stay too long. You can't hang around when your money is gone. Down and out, well, it ain't no sin to be down and out. It ain't no sin. Ain't going to hell. Think I already been. Just when you think you got nothing to lose, just when you think You got nothing to lose. That's when you find another hole in your shoe.
Oh, thank
All
you.
right, Steve.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much, Steve. So that's Steve Rapson, a friend to one and all in the scene. Look him up, steverapson.com. And thank you so much for being here tonight, Steve, but also for supplying the music that we use every week now for months.
Yeah.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate it.
Sure. What are the names of the instrumental records? There's patriotic music. There's your Christmas album is my wife's favorite album.
That warms my heart to hear it. Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. And she don't like nothing. She don't even like me.
I don't think so.
She heard the pre-show music and she came to the door and she goes, "That's Rapson, right?" I go, "Yeah." She goes, "That's my favorite Christmas record. Where is that?
Wow.
Did you lose that?"
That's great. That's great to hear.
Yeah, it's nice work, Steve, and thank you so much for being here. And so everybody that's seeing Steve for the first time, keep an eye on him. You know, he's doing good work in the world. All right, Reverend Jones, let's see. You know, last time you got away with not having to play, right?
Yeah. I was a virtual guy in a virtual show. Right?
Twice removed. You were twice removed.
I was twice removed.
Now we get the real thing, right?
Yeah. We'll try it anyway.
Well, I'd love to hear something for real. You know, once removed from.
Well, you know, it's funny talking about the idea of 6 degrees of separation, how we really are related to one another musically and stuff like that. And I've told John this story, and I've told other people too, but I may as well share it with the rest of you guys. One year I got a chance to host the Ann Arbor Folk Festival, and John was not, I don't think, scheduled to be on it, but sometimes they do these little cameo appearances, and he came out and played this song of his called Semper Fi. Blew everybody away. It was amazing. And in that song, he has this little chord change that goes, you know, "Father met Eleanor Roosevelt in 1945. Or at least that's the way I heard it. And I thought, man, what a cool song. Family history. You know, I got a family. They got history. So it took me a while to sort of get it together. But I wrote this song for my daughter when she was 8 years old. And now she's 28 years old. And her name is Arnesia. So she knows everything, but I wanted to let her know one thing for sure. And that's why her name is Arnesia. And it's really cool because, you know, knowing everything, she still needs her mom and dad's money. So in that way, they're very similar to Don White's kids. And kids everywhere. So anyway, this is called Arnesia's song, and it goes like this. And listen for the John Gorka chord in the middle. In the year of 1916, the money world had turned its hands to war. But deep within the state of Alabama, Arnesia of Evergreen was born. And there never was a movie done about her. No history book will ever hold her name. But I know her story like I know my own hand, and I will tell her story just the same. In 28, when all the folks were laughing and talking about the money that they made, at 12 years old in dresses made of patches, Arnesia picked the cotton while she played. And she helped her mother raise 2 orphan cousins, 'cause that's the way they did it in those days. Barely older than the children that she cared for, That's how Anisha learned her mother's way. And in 34, when all the folks were crying and talking about the money that they lost, Arnesia was all alone and trying to figure out what love too young would cost. She'd had 2 children for him out of a wedlock, back when such children were a mark of shame. Though she never wore it in her own house, she raised those babies with their father's name. And no movies were ever done about her, no history book will ever hold her name. But I know her story like I know my own hand, and I will tell her story just the same. In 49, Anisha left for Detroit to see the poor man's fabled promised land. She sold whiskey to the workers in Black Bottom, and she put her problems all in Jesus' hands. In Detroit, it wasn't like old Alabama. She had to learn to face the cold gray morn. That rags wrapped round her feet would keep her walking. Newsprint round her legs would keep her warm. And in 56, while civil rights was marching, her daughter had a baby of her own. She found out what Arnesia had long known, that it's hard to raise a baby on your own. But those women worked to raise that boy together, and they gave me all the best they had to give. When I think about the way those women raised me, I know those women taught me how to live. And no movies were ever done about her, no history book will ever hold her name. But I know her story like I know my own hand, and I will tell her story just the same. By the 60s, Arnesia's son got married, and he found success in the mechanic's trade. His 8 children came and brought his mama pleasure, and around her fate all 9 grandchildren played. And we grew inside the joy that was around her. Somehow we'd all cut out our middle moms for a neighborhood of children called her mother. And she wiped away our tears on callous palms. But by the 80s, while the whole wide world was spending, Arnesia did the best that she could do. Her only son was killed at 37, and her only daughter died at 52. And the twist of fate had taken all her children, and nearly all the joy that did remain. But in my son's eyes, she met 4 generations, and she knew her life had not been lived in vain. And in 90, in the month that she was born in, Arnesia of Evergreen went home. And in 91, my wife came in and blessed me with another little Arnesia of my own. And sometime when I hear my niecey laughing, I hear my other niecey in the sound. And it's then I bow my head and pray to heaven that Arnesia's life goes better this time round.
Oh my goodness, that was wonderful.
Story.
Oh my.
So much.
That was great.
Thank you.
That was terrific.
Yeah, I don't know what to say now. Yeah.
Don, anything you could say?
Done the impossible. You made Dawn White speechless.
What I heard, I know exactly what love is. You made me speechless. So I'm glad I'm able to pay you back.
Maybe I'll end this night with that at the end there. So Can we just talk for a minute, Robert? You know, it's just you and I. Nobody's listening.
No.
Um, so did you grow up in Detroit?
Yeah. Yeah. Born and raised.
So how about like what? So early musical influences. Would you talk about that a little bit in Detroit? I mean, that was quite a place to be musically early in your life. I mean, probably wasn't a more interesting place. Chicago maybe, but certainly Detroit had it going on. Can you just want to talk about like the first thing you heard that turned you on, or what inspired you, or like
Oh
that?
man, I don't even remember the first thing I heard that turned me on. My mother was you know, a good upstanding Baptist church woman, and my grandmother was really an upstanding, you know, good Baptist church woman. But my grandmother loved records. She loved the, you know, all kind of records, you know. Well, I never heard Wagner or anything, but she liked Sonny Terry, Brownie McGee, Lightning Hopkins. You know, so I grew up listening to that, Muddy Waters, B.B. King. But she also loved like old gospel, like, you know, the soul stirrers. There was a woman from Samaria came to the well to get some water. You know, that kind of stuff. So I grew up listening to gospel, listening to Motown, listening to blues, and all of that stuff. But then, strangely enough, when I was a young fella, I had graduated from college and was working at an educational radio station, and also ended up working at WDT, which is the public station in Detroit, which I cannot overemphasize how important public radio stations are to our culture. They played everything, and what they also played was folk. So I got a chance to hear, you know, some of these great folk singers and songs that had more than three chords and songs that told stories. So, you know, all of that stuff I think has combined to create the um, weirdo that I am.
All right. Well, you know, you could like, you know, be living in a place like that at a time like that and having the benefit of being a radio station too. You just couldn't help yourself, could you? You just had to turn out peculiar, right?
Absolutely. And you
Yeah.
know, I think the idea is that those of us who are peculiar, we have to embrace our peculiarity, you know, like yourself. And when you go ahead and embrace it, it's like, you know, I'm different and it's okay. Then it's a wonderful thing, and you get to do music that is, you know, I don't want to sound pretentious or anything, but I will say that everybody on this broadcast has produced music that can make you laugh and it can make you cry, which
Yeah.
is a pretty amazing range that, you know, that you can do that. And so I appreciate, you know, the fact that I've been given the privilege to be one of those peculiar people.
Well, you know, welcome aboard. You know, I'll send you your membership card here in just a week or so.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, I am truly the
You can
president
only wish,
of
right?
Peculiar Society. So,
If you run, I will vote for you.
You got a second.
If nominated, I will not run. If elected, I will not serve. So this is the time of the night where I poke around here and see if I can drag somebody in. So you talking about WDET made me think about this character. Is he still here? Matt Watrober, are you here somewhere? Did I see you?
Sir,
There you are. There you
Hey,
go.
sir.
There's Mr. WD.
Hey, Don White, how you doing, buddy?
Good. So you and Robert have things that you do together. Do you want to play a song for us and chat a little bit about what you've got going on?
Sure. I'll be the one that follows that song, Arnesia's song. I've probably followed it 1,000 times on stages. He basically, you know, makes everybody in the audience weep and then says it's my turn. You know?
Go ahead, Matt. Have at it. Go ahead, young fella.
I sort of said in the chat room that this is the coolest room in the world, and it doesn't get any cooler than this, you know.
Yes,
You're right on that one.
You're absolutely right.
So my slightly older brother Don, I'm going to sing this song for you because baseball season, for what it is, has begun.
Go Greg, boy.
This is a song I wrote when they decided to tear down Tiger Stadium, which used to sit at Michigan Avenue in Trumbull in downtown Detroit, just about a few miles from where Robert and I met at WDET back in 1986. And unlike other baseball stadiums, I should say, you know, like when they tear a stadium down in New York, they build one up real quick right in the same spot. But in Detroit, they don't play it like that. They let it sit there for about 8 years before they tore it down, and it just sort of dilapidated before our eyes. And then they finally tore it down, and then the hole sat there for another 5 years where it used to be. And one day I was driving home from the radio station, and I looked up at the lights that were still up there, still kind of towering over the stadium. And the phrase, "they used to play baseball here," came to mind. And so I went home and wrote a song about my old friend, Tiger Stadium, and it kind of turned into a song about what happens to neighborhoods.
Hang on a second, Matt. Do you have your original sound off? Can you just look up in the corner there? Does it say off?
I just did a whole concert, so I think I do. Let me check here.
Zoom is funny. It'll reset itself sometimes. Just make sure it says turn off original sound up there.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's fine. Let me make absolutely sure though here, Don. It'll take me just a second.
It's right in the top left corner, probably.
Yeah. Well, I don't get that, but
I mean, it sounds okay. You know,
all right, we'll see what we can do. Drive on through the broken gate, past the booth now still and dark. Once the cars were bathed in light, spilling over from the park. I'd flip my keys to Jim or Steve, find my seat and have a beer. But this old house is coming down. They used to play baseball here. The stadium has moved downtown, leaving nothing on the street. Traded in a neighborhood for a corporate box or suite. I know it's good for business, that point has been made clear. But this old house is coming down. They used to play baseball here. Game days we would stand outside in a line curled round the block. But Gracie's eggs were worth the wait, and I loved the baseball talk. I marveled how the morning hours somehow disappear. Gracie's place is coming down. They used to serve breakfast here. New joints out on exit 5, you don't have to stand in line. Traded conversation for a convenient place to dine. I know it's good for business, that point has been made clear. But this old house is coming down. They used to play baseball here. I know we're moving forward, and I guess we probably should. But there's a cost for what we've lost when things are gone for good. The barber shop near Gracie's was a gathering for guys. I'll get it. Barber shop near Gracie's was a gathering for guys. Between innings on the radio, they spent hours spinning lies. A ring of smoke, a dirty joke for over 40 years. Saturdays are not the same. They used to give haircuts here. New salons stretch on and on. Walt's place was cramped and small. Traded in a gathering place for a cheap cut at the mall. I know it's good for business, That point has been made clear. This old house is coming down. They used to play baseball here. This old house, it's coming down. They used to play baseball here.
Beautiful, Matt. Wow.
Hey, Matt.
Thank you, thank you.
Great.
Now with Troba, my friend. Oh, man. All right. That was great, Matt.
Thank you, Don. Thanks for what you do, man. You've really just tore this whole idea. You pioneered it, and everybody's doing it, and you're the reason why.
Hey, I'll be, I'll be like a footnote in this thing. Yeah,
not for us.
Some peculiar man thought this all up, and then people with more drive figured out how to do it right.
I just did
legacy.
I just did an hour and a half community sing, which was really bizarre considering no one can actually sing. So we have to mute everybody, and I could just see their mouths going, and everybody said they felt better. So
sometimes when I'm, there are things that are so surreal here. I feel like I should be waking up from them. You know what I mean?
I know.
Like like that, like people applauding this way, doesn't that feel like a dream that you would wake up screaming from? Like. We're doing what we can do. I'm glad to live in a time when the technology is available for us to, my brain is the part of my brain that's responding to this is the same part of my brain that responds when we're all together. So, I'm kind of tricking my brain into thinking we're all together, but it's okay. I've been tricking my brain in all kinds of ways from the beginning.
Right. Hey, Don,
yes.
I just remember Robert was talking about how influential it was to be at WDET. And for those of you who don't know, Robert and I met doing back-to-back radio shows. He did a show on country blues from 10 to noon, and then I did a show called Folks Like Us from noon until 3. And then I would have live guests. Robert would have live guests. I would be working on my show while his was on, and this woman would walk into the back of the library looking for Robert, and I look up and it's Ruth Brown, like one of the greatest soul singers of all time. Robert came into the studio once when Townes Van Zandt was visiting live and sat in the corner as Townes pulled out a sweaty piece of paper out of his pocket and sang a brand new song on the radio for the very first time. And I'm looking over at my best friend, Robert, in the corner, and he's got tears coming out of his eyes. I mean, that station was so influential in all the people that Robert and I got to meet. I got to learn about the blues through him. He got to learn about folk music through what I was playing. And then the best thing, of course, that came out of that radio experience was I really did get to meet my best friend, who we travel around the country together now and do shows all over we used to do shows all over the place.
That'll come back.
Yeah, if I got nothing else out of that radio experience, meeting Robert Jones was that was the best.
No,
Ditto Rush.
Did you say Ditto Rush?
I did.
Detroit is the place to be. I don't care what anybody says. Maybe someday we'll do an after party with Scott Alaric, Robert Jones, and Matt Wetruba, 3 people who have interviewed every person who ever played a guitar on earth. Right? Matt Wetruba, how many times have you interviewed Pete Seeger? 5 times. Scott Alaric, how many times have you interviewed every person that ever lived in folk music? 10 times. Robert Jones, how many blues? We'll just do an after party with radio stories. I'll get you to tell that story about Townes Van Zandt and the chair and all that.
You got it, man. Let's do it.
All right, we'll do that. All right, I'm just teasing you all now, so you have to come back and hear that story some other time. So John Gorker, I know you're an hour earlier, so it's not past your bedtime out there.
Hi.
So would you play another song for us? And I want to just say to you, to everybody, thank you for doing this. This means a lot to me and to the community to just see us all hanging around, to being with each other. So thanks, everybody.
Hi. Let's see. I just want to say hello to let's see Michelle Held there in the gallery. If you've not heard her music, you should do that.
Oh, she's great.
And I think, is that Shane?
Thanks, John.
Shane Jackman from Utah? Shane, did I know you from there? Oh.
Might be muted.
Yes, we did. We took a couple ski runs at Snowbird.
Oh, okay, I thought so. All right. I thought. Nice to see you.
You too.
All right. This is a. I still don't know how to play it in a situation like this, but I'll try to go from memory. This is, I guess, a sing along. You should probably mute yourself due to the latency factor, and but maybe sing along. It's just a 4-line song, and I sing it 3 or 4 times. So you should be singing along by the end of it if you'd like. I'm not even sure what it's called. If not now, if not us, I'm not sure. I'll sing it for you though. If not us, not them. If not now, then when? If not here, nor there. If not this world, then where? If not us, not them. If not now, then when? If not here, nor there. If not this world, then where? If not us, not them. If not now, then when? If not here, nor there. If not this world, then where? A couple more times. If not us, not them. If not now, then when? If not here, nor there. If not this world, then where? Last time. If not us, not them. If not now, then when? If not here, nor there. If not this world, then where?
Oh, that's beautiful, John. John, that's beautiful.
Did you sing? I hope you sang.
We did.
All right.
I was.
I wasn't looking at your mouth, so I was. You're on the honor system.
John, thank you so much. Can you do you know the date? Do you know the date of the thing that you're doing for the Circle of Friends where you're showing your film? It's September something or?
Yeah, I think it's September 12th.
That sounds right, I think. So John is gonna they're gonna show a film that of a concert film that John did at Cafe Lena, and John's gonna be on hand to talk about it. Or do you want to just chat about it a little bit, John?
I'll be on hand to chat, and I might do a little spoken introduction, or I've not seen the whole show myself, so I've got to see what I played so I can do requests. So let's wait for the request to come in for the songs that I sang a year and a half ago.
So that's the Circle of Friends in Franklin, Mass. So go to their website and figure that out. I'm going to try to make it on the 12th. I think it's September 12th.
Yeah,
and,
I think I'll do the same thing at Godfrey Daniels on September 1st, and I think one for the Ark at the end of September.
Wonderful. So go ahead.
And maybe it's at some point. I'm hoping to, if I can get the technical stuff worked out, I'd like to maybe do like a Zoom show maybe in October.
That'd be great. Let us know.
All right,
stop
thank
by
you.
anytime to let us know. Like everybody's a huge fan now on the Thursday night thing, John. So
Well, that's nice. Well, thank you all.
Oh, yes.
All right, let's hear it for Johon Gorka.
That was fabulous.
I want to say thanks to Steve Rapson for his beautiful music, and he asked about a copy of his book. I would love to get one.
Oh,
I'll get you. I'll get you my address through Mr. Don.
Okay.
Hey,
All right,
you
so
guys know, I'm sorry, I have a copy. I think David gave me the dates: the September 1st, the 12th, and the 27th for John Gorka showings.
Okay, it's all yes, and I'll be making different comments and doing different requests.
All in the chats.
But the same songs, but I'm hoping for people to request different songs so I can do requested songs. Thank you and good night.
all right, so I think my executive decision is to get Michelle, ask Michelle to play a song for us, and then I'll do something and wind this up, and that will make this the all Midwest after party. And so Michelle, are you set up to play?
Sure.
John Gorka called you out.
Hey,
We have
Michelle,
to.
all right.
Yay, Michelle.
Good to see you again.
This is Michelle
Nice to
Held.
see
She
you
was
all.
in Michigan as well. We have the All Midwest show going here today, and we'd love to hear you as you sort of wind us down here tonight.
Thank you. You were great tonight, Don.
Thank you.
He is always, Steve, Michelle.
I took notes.
I did too.
No, I really did.
The Midwest and the East come together.
Thanks, Michelle. You're the best. All
And
right.
Reverend Jones, I don't know if you remember when we played a fundraiser together at Unitarian Church. I still have a bootleg of your song about your guitar on my phone. Is he still here?
Yeah.
Yeah, bless you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I remember that night, and you were awesome that night too. So I appreciate it.
I love that song. All right. This song this song started with the last line, and of all the things that were canceled this summer, I was looking forward to being a guest at a children's music camp. It was a strings camp, and they were going to play on this song, and I was really honored to do that. So maybe next summer. Wanna grow like the weeds, shine like the sun, open my arms like the ocean and hold everyone. Wanna sing with the angels and be right with the gods. Wanna see above mountains and through all facades. Wanna rhyme like Bob Dylan, be strong like Simone, spread goodwill like Ali, perform like Leonard Cohen. Wanna shake it like Elvis and party like Towns. Wanna get to know the silence as much as the sounds. Want the sick to be healed from all the cancer that spreads, and the homeless to always come home to warm beds. Chance to hug my late father and to tell him goodbye, and that I do respect all that he sacrificed. Want a leader who understands the price of his words, and the people that learn no longer follow the herd. I want justice for all, and I want evil to pay, and I want to do better than I did yesterday.
Oh, that was beautiful, Michelle.
Thank you.
So great to hear you again.
Thank you. Thanks, Don.
You're welcome, Michelle. So this has been another great night here. So we're simulating community here on the internet. Thanks to everybody for coming. Brandon, if you don't mind putting the Venmo and the PayPal stuff in the chat one more time. We're gonna take a hunk of whatever comes in and give it to this organization called Food Gatherers in Michigan. Help feed some people there. Thanks everybody. Let's see. On Monday night, I'm doing a show for the Peterborough Folk Society, or with them. And the woman from Red Molly is going to be in the Secret Squirrel after party, and John McCutcheon is going to be there too. The big dog.
boy.
That's what I call him, the big dog, John McCutcheon. And so thanks for supporting live music. I see a lot of musicians here. Sorry I couldn't get to all of you, but I it's just, I love you all. I'll try to get everybody in whenever I can. So I'm gonna just play this song for my wife, if I can remember how to do it. She came up repeatedly in the concert tonight for some reason. Just want to talk about. I just want to play this if I can remember how to do it. So thanks everybody, and thanks. Let's hear it again for John Gorka. Come on. For Reverend Robert Jones.
Robert Jones, wonderful.
Steve Rapson, the guitar man. Matt Watroba, cameo.
Watroba, you were wonderful again.
And a cameo from Michelle Held.
You're always awesome. Great.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Dawn White Midwestern After Party is now concluding. I love you all. I'm not sure I can remember this one, but I'll take a stab at it. But I do want to. I just feel like playing it. Like I said, I've been with my wife since I was 16 years old, and when other people look at us, they see an elderly couple. we don't see that. We see two punks hitchhiking around the country, but there's something wrong with our eyes. All right. September comes subtle, a chill in the breeze. I reach for my sweater. I know what this means. Warm days are not over, but change has begun. Subtle but steady, the world turns away from the sun. summer was fruitful, the harvest looks good, our family prospered like we hoped it would. Our struggles were many, those struggles are done. Come sit by my side while the world tilts away from the sun. Away from the sun. Away from the sun. Most hardly notice, but we know this change has begun. Change has begun. Change has begun. Subtle, subtle, but steady, the world tilts away from the sun. On a world full of wonder, we spin through the sky. Loving, fighting, growing, and wondering why. While a big ball of fire above us looks down, shining warm light upon us as we spin around and around. Away from the sun, away from the sun. Most hardly notice, but we know this change has begun. Change has begun. Change has begun. Subtle but steady, the world tilts away from the sun. Let's spend all the money on laughter and song. Let's dance with these bodies till these bodies are gone. And when it's all over, you'll know that it is true. My life only had meaning 'cause I got to share it with you. September comes subtle, a chill in the breeze. I reach for my sweater, I know what this means. Warm days are not over, but change has begun. Come dance with me while the world tilts away from the sun.
Thanks, Don. Beautiful.
Beautiful, Don.
All right.
What a show.
Great show tonight.
Thanks. Another great night, man. Give yourselves a round of applause. Hey, do it so way up screaming. Weirdest applause ever. Hi, Shannon. Hi, Tim. Tim Mason and Shannon from New Mexico out there. Come on. That's too cool, isn't it? Let's see. Nebraska, Massachusetts, California.
Woo!
This is a global entity here, isn't
Yes,
it?
can you make it that way, Don?
International.
My
It's an
God.
international experience. So thanks to Food Gatherers for the good work that they're doing. Thanks for David Tamulevich for bringing great music out into this world.
Yeah,
We'll
David.
so again, as I have said many times, if I am because I started this meeting, if I end it, it just goes blank and it leaves us all breathless and alone. So it's abrupt and hostile ending to an event, and I just don't want to do it. So I'm gonna leave the meeting going. You guys can unmute yourselves and talk to each other, or you can all disappear one at a time. Those of you on YouTube over there, I love you. Thanks for playing along. Those of you on Facebook, stop looking at that cat photograph. There's a concert going on. What are you doing over there?
Thanks.
John Gorka, thank you. Good luck with everything.
John,
Tim Murphy from Colorado, how you doing, buddy?
Don, thank you so much for playing that Vagabonds song.
Thanks.
That's one of my all-time favorites. I can remember when my life was like that.
Yeah.
And you know our oldest daughter, Jenny?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Remember her?
Sure.
She just turned 40 last week.
How's that possible?
Yeah, she's living in Denver. She's teaching school, and
oh wow,
she loves her life. So I'm so happy about that now.
Tim, do you mind if I tell your victory story to the remaining 19?
Yeah, you can do that.
All right, you tell me if I'm wrong about this. All right, so here, there's so many stories about cancer that are just horrible, right? So Tim Murphy had cancer everywhere, in his brain and all of that. And I was going out to Colorado and expecting to see him, expecting to say goodbye to him. And then I got a call from him, and he told me this story. I'm gonna just abbreviate it. You tell me if I get it wrong. So basically, his tumor had grown back in his brain, and they just said, put your affairs in order. And they handed him a slip of paper and said, there's these people are doing a trial. Maybe you can get in it. Good luck. But there's nothing else we can do for you. And he went down to this trial in Arizona. Is that right, Tim? Yep.
Kind of, yeah.
Yep. He went to this trial, and they took this experimental drug, and he became a super responder. He's gonna get a T-shirt that says SR on it, and he responds to this thing, and he went from gone, pretty much gone, to back enough to play mandolin in one of my concerts when we were out in Colorado. So I just think that it's worth saying sometimes that these stories, you just have to make sure you remember that they don't all end the way that you expect them to. That Tim Murphy is a living, breathing miracle. So how about a round of applause for Tim Murphy?
Yeah. Hey, Tim. God bless you.
And how you feeling, buddy? Are you feeling all right?
I'm feeling great. There's more to it. I did get in a trial. There's a research hospital here. We live in Aurora, Colorado. It's right next to Denver. And I got in a trial, went up there, and they put me in a group that was supposed to get the regular treatment, not the experimental. And I thought, uh-oh, this is bad, And I started with that. And then in the meantime, I contacted this outfit in Phoenix. And I went down there, and they were going to do surgery on me and take out what there was in my brain. I had glioblastoma. It's what John McCain and Beau Biden died of. It's pretty bad, But what happened was they started giving me this standard type drug, for treating it. It's a chemo drug called Avastin. But I was literally hours away from having this surgery down in Phoenix, and the doctor called me and said, "We're looking at your scans and your tumor's shrinking." What were they giving you? And we stuck with that, and it's been great. I haven't had any signs of cancer in my brain for over a year now.
Yeah.
How about that? That's awesome, Tim.
Yeah, when I first found out, they said, "Oh yeah, they did say put your affairs in order because you probably got 10 months."
And how long ago was that, Tim?
That was back in November of 2017.
Yeah.
It's been really
Right. Yeah.
And then just to top it off, about a month and a half ago, I had a heart attack.
That's
And
nothing.
I got treated for that. Yeah, they went in. It's amazing what they can do. They went in and did a catheter and cleared out the artery that was blocked, and they put a couple stents in. And I'm older than Donnie. I'm 66, and for a 66-year-old guy with a hole in his brain, I feel great.
You look great too.
Thanks, man.
You're just meant to be here, Tim.